Gosar just got censured for his role in pushing an animation showing him killing Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and squaring up with Joe Biden. And he talks in the video as well about going after immigrants. The guy's inciting violence. He's continued to incite violence. And then get this. After he pulled the video down, right? And they get censured. Guess what he did today? He went and put the fucking video right back up again. Right the fuck back up. And it sounds like he's actually ejected from some committees. This is coming out of the Washington Post. And here's what their story has to say about it. The House voted Wednesday to censure Rep. Paul A. Gosar, however you want to say it, for tweeting an anime video that depicted him killing Rep. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and swinging swords at President Biden. A move that comes amid growing worries about violent political rhetoric 10 months after a mob of former President Donald Trump's supporters attacked the Capitol. The 223 to 207 vote, with one member voting present, marks the first time in more than a decade that the House has censured one of its members. The resolution also removes Gosar from his assignments on the House Oversight and Natural Resources Committees. Disguising death threats against a member of Congress and a president of the United States in an animated video does not make those death threats any less real or serious, Speaker Nancy Pelosi said during Wednesday's debate, describing GOP leaders' refusal to reprimand Gosar as outrageous. The day brought the post-January 6 tensions in Congress to the fore and highlighted Republicans' increasing tendency to defend their GOP colleagues against any criticism from Democrats, regardless of the behavior at issue. Most Republicans who spoke on the floor Wednesday focused their remarks on attacking Democrats as power-hungry hypocrites bent on destroying the country and unwilling to discipline their own members for what Republicans claim were similar acts. But beyond brief mentions of not condoning violence, few Republicans directed any criticism at Gosar for posting a video depicting himself plunging a sword into the back of a colleague's neck. Some GOP lawmakers dismissed the video as a joke or noted that cartoons are often violent. Others said Gosar took down the video and that should be enough. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy pledged to strip several Democrats of their committee assignments if Republicans succeeded in taking control of the House next year. A censure is less severe than expulsion from the House, but more severe than a reprimand. Shortly after Wednesday's vote, Gosar stood in the well of the House chamber as Pelosi read aloud the censure resolution and a verbal rebuke. About a dozen Republicans stood beside Gosar in a show of support as he was censured. Ocasio-Cortez observed the censure from the front row of the House about 15 feet away from Gosar, with Democratic reps Maxine Waters and Marcy Kaptur sitting beside her. Two Republicans, Reps Liz Cheney and Adam Kinzinger, joined Democrats in backing the measure. Rep David Joyce of Ohio voted present, citing his membership on the House Ethics Committee and the possibility that Gosar's posting could come before that panel. In remarks on the House floor ahead of the vote, Gosar rebuffed calls to apologize. Instead, he struck a defiant tone, denouncing what he described as a false narrative that the video was dangerous or threatening. It was not, Gosar said. He compared himself to one of the country's founders, Alexander Hamilton, the first person attempted to be censured by this House, and insisted that the video was a symbolic rebuke of Biden's immigration policy. Hamilton was accused of mishandling 2 government loans as Treasury Secretary. The censure vote against him failed. Ocasio-Cortez, who has faced threats and been accosted by other House Republicans in the past, said Wednesday's resolution is not about her or Gosar, but rather about what we are willing to accept. What is so hard about saying that this is wrong? She asked. In defending Gosar, she said Republican lawmakers have embraced the illusion that this was just a joke, that what we say and what we do does not matter so long as we claim a lack of meaning. Now, this nihilism runs deep, and it conveys and betrays a certain contempt for the meaning and importance of our work here, Ocasio-Cortez said. Gosar has long drawn criticism for his extremist views, including his spreading of the false claim that the January 6th attack on the Capitol and the deadly white nationalist rally in Charlottesville in 2017 were part of a left-wing plot. In February, he appeared at an event whose organizer called for white supremacy. Gosar later distanced himself from the organizer's remarks. Wednesday's House vote comes a little over a week after Gosar shared a 90-second clip that appears to be an altered version of the opening credits of the Japanese animated series Attack on Titan. Why do you have to use that one too? I fucking like Attack on Titan. Fucking dickbag. The show revolves around a hero who sets out to destroy the Titans, giant creatures that have devoured nearly all of human civilization. Any anime fans out there? Gosar said in the tweet, in which he shared a link to the altered video. In one scene in the video, Ocasio-Cortez's face is edited over one of the Titans' faces. Gosar flies into the air and slashes a Titan in the back of the neck, killing it. In another scene, Gosar swings two swords at a foe whose face has been replaced by that of Biden. McCarthy and other GOP leaders have not publicly condemned Gosar's video. McCarthy told CNN on Monday that he called Gosar when he heard about the video and noted that the congressman made a statement that he doesn't support violence and he took the video down. In House floor remarks Wednesday, McCarthy accused Democrats of making rules for thee but not for me and promised political payback if Republicans retake the majority. What Democrats have started cannot be easily undone. Their actions today and in the past have forever changed the way the House operates, he said, naming several Democrats who will need the approval of a majority to keep their committee assignments in a GOP-led House. Even as they decried the unfairness of the House acting to revoke Gosar's committee assignments, some Republicans have argued in favor of taking similar action against their 13 GOP colleagues who recently voted in favor of Biden's $1.2 trillion infrastructure package. See how ass-fucking backwards these people are? Twitter originally placed a public interest notice on Gosar's tweet, which it said had violated its policy against hateful conduct. Gosar has since deleted the tweet. In defending the video Wednesday, Gosar cited the notice posted by Twitter. Even Twitter, the left's mouthpiece, did not remove the cartoon, noting it was in the public's interest for it to remain, he said. The White House condemned the video last week, and Pelosi called for investigations by a House Ethics Committee and law enforcement. In response to Gosar's video last week, Ocasio-Cortez listed several times she was accosted or harassed at the Capitol by Republican members of Congress, including Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene and Rep. Ted Yoho, who left office in January. All at my job, she tweeted, along with an upside-down smiley face, and nothing ever happens. The last member censured by the House was then Rep. Charles B. Rangel in December of 2010. In an overwhelming 333 to 79 vote, the House reprimanded Rangel for 11 rules infractions that included 17 years of unpaid taxes on property in the Dominican Republic, more than $500,000 in undisclosed financial assets, and inappropriately raising millions of dollars for a New York City college from corporations with business before the Ways and Means Committee, of which Rangel once was chairman. During Wednesday's House debate, several Democratic women spoke out about the increasing threats they have faced in recent months. This routine brand of violence against women in politics is a direct attempt to silence us, Rep. Nikema Williams of Georgia said. She added that she has had to get security for herself and her family after the January 6th attack on the Capitol by a pro-Trump mob. Rep. Mary Gay Scanlon of Pennsylvania noted that Gosar's video had been viewed more than 3 million times. In past years, she said such a video might have been excused as a lapse in judgment or even possibly a bad joke. But this Congress knows what happens when members of the radical right get stirred up by their leaders. Rep. Tom Cole countered that Democrats are rushing to condemn a Republican member for actions which he has already sought to address. Instead of censuring Gosar, Cole said the House should have referred the matter to the Ethics Committee. And of course we have Matt Gaetz, the fucking pedophile, arguing that we have better things to do on the floor of the House of Representatives than be the hall monitors for Twitter. Of course he'd say that. Of course he'd fucking say that. In an interview Tuesday with outlets including Gateway Pundit, an opinion and commentary blog that frequently promotes baseless conspiracy theories, Gosar compared his video to unpopular children's cartoons. This is not the same thing. If my cartoon can be banned and my free speech is to be banned, then the Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon, Disney, and indeed most of Hollywood obviously could be banned as well. Not to mention Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner, Gosar said. Oh boy, this guy really is a piece of shit. Rep. Jackie Spear, who spearheaded the censure resolution, pushed back against Gosar's efforts to play down the violence portrayed in the video. Spear, who announced Tuesday that she will not seek re-election in 2022, referenced the 2011 shooting of then Rep. Gabrielle Giffords, Democrat of Arizona, as well as her own experience as a survivor of the 1978 Jonestown massacre, in which her then boss, Rep. Leo Ryan, and 4 others were killed in Guyana by members of a cult led by Jim Jones. I know what violence can do, Spear tweeted. My mentor, Congressman Leo Ryan, was shot 45 times and killed in cold blood. My friend Gabby Giffords thankfully survived her shooting. This is not a game. We cannot condone the incitement of violence. Violence begets violence. We must censure Rep. Gosar. At a meeting Tuesday of the House Rules Committee, Rep. Jim McGovern of Massachusetts, the panel's chairman, noted the impact that threats have on the security of Ocasio-Cortez and other lawmakers. Is there no decency? Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez has to pay for her own security, and the threats that she gets come as a result of behavior like we have seen with Mr. Gosar, McGovern said. In February, the House voted to strip Green of her committee assignments for past extremist and racist remarks. The vote was 230 to 199, with 11 Republicans joining Democrats to remove Green from the committees. I mean, you're seeing a pattern of behavior that's just, it's beyond the pale, okay? It's not just one Republican. This is the culture of the Republican Party right now. This is what's fucking scary. They want mass violence. They want political violence. They are itching for political violence. They're trying to enact it. They're trying to incite it. They're doing it openly, and they're not apologizing for fucking shit. They want this. It's fucking gross, dude. They are trying to fucking encourage people to commit acts of violence. And it just continues to happen. It just continues to perpetuate, right? Because there is never a consequence. There's never a fucking consequence for these people's actions. You take fucking Marjorie Taylor Greene out of all her committee assignments. Now what she got time to do? She's all over the fucking media, man. She's stirring up shit all over the place. Thank goodness she can't have much of a part in shaping policy, but like, these people need to be held accountable just like a civilian would be held accountable, and they're fucking not. They're not held accountable. They're not held accountable for shit. I don't give a fuck if he lost his committee assignments. A death threat is a death threat. If I fucking threatened the life of a congressperson, even through a veiled threat like he did, you can bet there would be fucking cops at my goddamn door. Now, why the fuck aren't they doing that to them? January 6th is because of assholes like this guy. Stochastic terrorists. That's what a fucking stochastic terrorist is. That's what a stochastic terrorist is. These are the people we have to worry about. Instead, we're infighting. As usual, the left fights with the left all the fucking time. We need to break that. It's not getting us anywhere. These guys are moving as one fucking unit, and they don't apologize for shit. These are supposed to be the people who are the moral pillars of our country. And the reason that you have the people that are not politicians, but our Republicans acting out the way they're acting out is because their leaders are fucking acting like that. You stop the leaders from acting like that, and you'll stop the crowds from acting like that. Our country is divided because we have one side that is really, really trying to fucking incite violence. They want people to hurt our Congress people. They're advocating for it, no matter how the fuck you slice it. But I'll tell you this. You know what? The left ain't going to get their shit together. They're just going to keep infighting. The Democrats are going to keep blaming the left side of the party. They just want to keep infighting. They want to keep dividing themselves. Fucking Cinema can't fucking line up. Manchin can't fucking line up. You know why Republicans are fucking always get shit done when they're in office or whatever they want done? Because they move like a fucking unit. They move like a fucking unit. If there's a goal, they all jump on and they fucking go with it. And they don't give a fuck how bad their fucking people are. They won't fucking police their own. We know that. Not unless they go against the fucking party. They wanted to censure 13 of their own fucking members because they signed on to an infrastructure package that's badly needed for this country. An infrastructure package that, by the way, Trump was trying to get passed, that Trump fucking supported. But they don't want to do it because it gives the fucking Democrats a win. Are you fucking kidding me? You're putting your party before our country? No, that should be fucking malpractice. That should be straight up fucking malpractice. And when I say that Paul Gosar incites violence and is a stochastic terrorist, I'm going to show you exactly what the fuck I mean.
Go back home once we conquer the Hill. Donald Trump has returned to being president.
Arizona Republican Congressman Paul Gosar wasn't just an instigator of the lethal January 6th attack on the Capitol. He was one of the main organizers.
I was the person who came up with the January 6th idea with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Mo Brooks, and then Congressman Andy Biggs.
Gosar promoted the lie that the election was stolen over a dozen times before January 6th. Thanks to Gosar's encouragement of the mob, just before they attacked the Capitol, 5 people died, including a Capitol police officer. And even as the Capitol was being attacked, Gosar justified it, saying Americans are upset. Paul Gosar betrayed his oath to the Constitution and incited a deadly attack on our country. It's time to expel him from Congress and prosecute him for sedition.
Boom. And there's the facts, man. There are the facts. You heard it at the very beginning. Listen again to the very beginning.
Imagine this. If you get us go back home once we conquer the Hill. Donald Trump has returned.
Imagine this, that you get to go back home once you've conquered the Hill and Donald Trump is returned to being the president. That's what he says. That is an incitement to fucking the very violence that we saw. That is exactly what incitement looks like. This is exactly what it looks like.
Being president.
Arizona Republican
Hear it again.
Imagine this. If you get us go back home once we conquer the Hill. Donald Trump has returned to being president.
Arizona.
And he's not the only one. It's a culture with this fucking party. It's a goddamn culture. Look, here's the one for Andy Biggs, who is another fucking congressman from Arizona. Man, Arizona, we got some fucking work to do. We're picking the scum of the fucking earth. What the fuck is wrong with you guys?
Andy Biggs, the head of the House Republican Freedom Caucus, was one of the primary organizers of the January 6th siege on the Capitol. It killed 5 people. And right before the riot, he was on video egging on the mob.
I was the person who came up with the January 6th idea with Congressman Gosar, Congressman Mo Brooks, and then Congressman Andy Biggs. Congressman Andy Biggs sent us a video.
Congressman Andy Biggs here. I wish I could be with you today. I pledge to you that I'm going to keep fighting for President Trump.
A month before the attempted coup, Andy Biggs was at the White House with Trump, plotting to overturn the will of the voters with other House Republicans. The 14th Amendment of the Constitution is clear. No one who has aided an attack on the United States is eligible to hold federal office. Andy Biggs needs to be expelled from the House and charged with sedition.
If AOC was murdered, he would be celebrating. There'd be a joke about it. They'd be making fucking jokes about it. That's the problem. This is what they're trying to tell their constituents. And you're going to tell me that these motherfuckers should get away with this shit? Here's another one. Here's Lauren Boebert. She's one of the fucking worst.
Said the exact same thing.
And look, I know these are political ads, guys, but I think they did a really good job in putting succinctly together what each one of these fucking hateful ass, horrible fucking people.
Newly elected Congresswoman Lauren Boebert is uniquely responsible for riling up the violent mob that stormed the Capitol and nearly succeeded in killing her fellow members of Congress. The morning of the deadly terrorist attack that killed 5 people, Boebert tweeted, "Today is 1776. The Trump supporters banging on lawmakers' doors that afternoon said the exact same thing. 1776! In the days before the riot, Boebert herself led a group of Trump supporters on a tour of the U.S. Capitol, according to Congressman Steve Cohen.
We saw Congressman Boebert taking a group of people for a tour sometime after the 3rd and before the 6th.
But the Capitol has been closed for tours due to COVID. Boebert wasn't leading a tour, but a reconnaissance mission, so rioters knew exactly where to go when they attacked.
There's one of the guys that was in the photo with her, right fucking there.
Speaker Pelosi's movements as the Capitol siege was taking place. The 14th Amendment to the Constitution states that anyone who has participated in sedition is ineligible to hold office. Lauren Boebert needs to be expelled from Congress and prosecuted for aiding and abetting an attack on our country.
So here's my point to all this, and here's how I'm going to close this all up for you guys. Let's get really, really, really real. Paul Gosar is not a symptom, or I'm sorry, is not the disease in the Republican Party. He is a symptom of the disease. This rot goes to the very fucking top. Kevin McCarthy's fucking allowing it. Mitch McConnell's sitting on his hands not doing a fucking thing. They're letting their fucking they're letting their junkyard dogs out, right? I could lose my fucking status in the party if I were to do this. But you, Paul Gosar, Andy Biggs, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene, Jim Jordan, Matt Gaetz, let the list go on? Shall we continue the list? I mean, there's a lot of them. In the end, Paul Gosar, you're a piece of shit, but I want your whole fucking party to go down. Your whole party is attached to this shit. And each and every fucking one of you that co-signs this shit needs to go down along with them. Stop this polite shit. Throw these motherfuckers in jail, man. I'm serious. We're too fucking nice to these politicians because we think they're in a position of power. You know what they have the power to do? They have the power to work for Americans. That's what they're supposed to be doing, but they're not doing that. They're not doing a fucking thing for Americans. This is what fascism looks like. This is exactly what fascism is.